I would rather have momentum than waiting for an answer. I can sit here and I can analyze a question or I can analyze a decision a million and 10 different ways. But the truth is, none of that really matters because I have to go. You have to go. You have to move. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Built Not Given. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. I've actually got a framework instead of a rant. I've got 3 questions that I'm going to go through that I'm going to answer. I'm going to try to keep them fairly short because I am low on time, and I do have the tendency to ramble. But if you're new here, I'm the host, Jake Strickland. I'm a 21-year-old realtor in the Northeast Georgia area. I've got a major passion for helping people. I like to think that the short-lived time that I've been on this earth, I have learned a lot of life lessons, and life lessons translate directly into business lessons. If you look around you, life is a business. And if you run your life like a business, you will succeed and you will have a happy life and you will have a happy family and your life will be fulfilling. So I'm going to get right into this. Like I said, 3 questions. Going to kind of go through them fairly quickly. First question is, how do you not second guess the decisions you make? I had somebody really close to me ask me that question, and truthfully, I didn't have an answer to it. So I was like, "Hey, give me a day or two. Let me chew on that. Let me figure that out." And what I came back with was somewhere along the lines, I realized decisions aren't permanent. 99% of the decisions you make are not going to be permanent. They're going to change. Things are going to happen, and the decisions you made, you can change. You can adapt to. You might have to eat the crap for a minute. You might have to eat it and it might suck. It might not be fun, but 9 times out of 10 the decisions you make, you can change. You can move, you can shake, you can improvise down the road. Because indecision causes more damage than no decision. Because if you make a decision, you're moving, and that's the most important part. Taking that first step is the most important part of anything that you do, because you can never go if you don't start, and you can never grow if you don't move. I would rather have momentum than waiting for an answer. I can sit here and I can analyze a question or I can analyze a decision a million and 10 different ways. But the truth is, none of that really matters because I have to go. You have to go. You have to move. We have to move. We only have so much time on this earth. And if we sit around waiting for an answer to be had, like if we sit here and wait for somebody to come up to us and say, hey, this is what you should do. Number one, that's never going to happen. It's never happened because nobody's going to tell you. Nobody's going to give you what you need to hear. They're going to tell you what they think you should hear, but the truth is you know what you need to hear. And you have to sit with that, and you have to make that decision yourself, and you have to go. You have to move. You have to make that decision. You have to go. You can't sit back and wait for somebody to give you the answer. So no, I don't second guess decisions I make because when I make them, I made them for a reason. And I don't look back and think, oh, why did I not make that? Because I have an analytical brain. I analyze everything, and with that becomes overthinking. And I know that when I made a decision in the moment, it was the right one, even if 10 minutes later I'm sitting overthinking it. Because there was this time of clarity, and that's when I made that decision. So when you make your decisions in a time of clarity, then you never have to worry about that decision. Because 9 times out of 10, it was right. And if it was wrong, 9 times out of 10, you can change it. You can improvise. But yeah, that was my answer to that. It took them a minute to chew on it and figure it out. But they're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I get that. But question 2 is, does failure not scare you? And honestly, no. Failure does not scare me. In the way that they ask the question. Now, failure does scare me. Yeah, I am terrified of not doing. I'm terrified of missing an opportunity. That's why I go. That's why I'm doing this. I don't want to miss something. So when an idea comes up, boom, I'm on it. I got to do it because I'm terrified of what happens if I miss that. If I miss that decision, if I miss that opportunity. And truthfully, I don't start anything planning to fail. Failure is not Failure is not an option. That's a cliche saying, but I mean it's true. You should never make a decision. You should never enter into something with failure being on your brain because that opens up the door for failure to creep in. You should never start something and say, oh no, what if I fail? Who cares? Do it again. Try again. Because if you keep going, failure is not failure. It's a learning experience. Thomas Edison did the light bulb a lot. I don't know the exact number. I think it was like 70 or 90 something. And they asked him how did he fail so many times. I think it was actually 10,000, excuse me. So I think he tried to create the light bulb 10,000 times, and somebody asked him, why did you keep going? Because it was never a failure. It was just he learned 10,000 different ways not to make a light bulb. And that's kind of my thought process about everything is I would rather learn how not to do something than just never start. Because if I learn how not to do something enough, I'm going to eventually learn how to do it. So failure just never enters my head, truthfully. It just never comes in because I don't think I'm going to. I don't believe in failure. I don't believe in quitting something that you started. Kind of like my Ironman that I'm doing. It sucks. Like last night, I got home late. I had a late day at work, but it was I started my bike at 8 o'clock, and it was an hour and 30 minutes. So I didn't finish until 9:30. Then I was up this morning at 5 because well, 5 o'clock alarm goes off. You got to get up. Don't have a choice. But I started it. I got to finish it. Now, do I think I'm going to do another one? Probably not. I think I'm going to go into the longer distance running, maybe the ultra. But anyway, there's my rambling. Now we'll get on to question 3. What are my thoughts on adding more to your plate during tough times? I heard this in a podcast, and then I heard somebody mention it to me saying, why are you adding so much to your plate? So that made me think about it. And I was like, well, I don't know. And then right about that same time, the podcast came along, and then it kind of explained it to me. And that is, I get complacent when I do things long enough. When I do something for an extended period of time, that fire that started me along that path, it doesn't burn out, but it definitely dims. It gets a little colder. Not because it's any easier, but because I've been doing it for a while. So instead of quitting what I'm doing, I do something new. Kind of like where last year, let's say summertime, yeah, it was summertime, July 20th, I made the decision that I was going to do the Ironman. And the reason that I made that decision was one, because I wanted to see what kind of person I would be at the end of it. I wanted to see what kind of person I was going to become. But at the same time, I was like, hey, I've been doing the same thing for a while now. I've got to change something up. I've got to do something. And it wasn't that I don't want to quit real estate. I love real estate. So I knew that that wasn't the answer. So what did I do? I was like, hey, what's something really hard that I can do? I started running. And I was like, that's not enough. What can I do else? Oh, there's something called, let's do a marathon. And I was like, okay, I'm going to train for the marathon. And then the marathon, I'm like, okay, but that's really not that hard. That's not going to take, it is hard, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to take me as long as it needs to. It's not going to take the mental effort that I needed to take. So I decided that I was going to do the Ironman. And the reason I decided for that was, again, to see what I would become, but also challenge myself, knowing good and well, I don't have time. So over that, I've learned time management. I've learned all these different things because of that. So making the decision to add more to my plate actually took a lot off of it. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but deciding to do the Ironman taught me how to time block, taught me how to get up in the morning when I really don't want to move, or do the workout in the afternoon when I don't want to do it. In doing so, allowed me to go through my day at such a better rate because I'm not sitting around saying, oh, what am I going to do now? Because I don't have a choice. I've got stuff I've got to do, and I've got to do it now. And when you act, it does not take as much time as you think it's going to take. When you act and you go, that 3-hour task that you thought was going to take you 3 hours actually takes you 30 minutes because you have it in your head that you don't have time. So if you can create that sense of urgency, then your day is going to go by so much faster and things are just going to get so much easier for you. Um, and another thing is pressure creates urgency. And for me, it creates focus. So if I don't have pressure on me, I don't have urgency and I'm not focused. Because when things are easy, they're easy. I don't have to think. I'm just going through my day without thinking. And when I don't think, I can't operate the best that I can. And I believe that's for everybody. So when you intentionally load yourself with things, it's not chaos. You're not creating chaos in your life. You're intentionally putting things on your plate to create that sense of urgency. And for me, that's what I needed to do. Now, all these questions kind of tie back together. They all come together, and it's more of having trust in yourself. believing in yourself. Because you will never have all the answers, and you will never do something with full certainty. But over time, that clarity will come because clarity follows action. You've got to trust yourself to figure it out as you go. You have to trust yourself to make that decision to get you moving. You have to trust yourself to go. Because, like I said, if you don't go, nothing happens. And I promise you, the pain of not doing is much worse than the pain of doing and maybe getting punched in the face, figuratively speaking, or maybe literally. I don't know what your plan is. I don't advise that, but you've got to keep making decisions and you've got to keep taking responsibility for those decisions. Don't live with regrets because it's pointless. When you made the decision, you made it due to things in your life that were happening. And you can't regret that because at the time that seemed to be the best option. I know there's a lot of decisions I've made that I look back and say, oh, maybe I could have done that differently. But the truth is I don't regret any of them because they have taught me so many different lessons that I needed to learn whether or not I wanted to or not. I've learned more about myself due to the poor decisions I've made than the good ones. Not my first year, my first full year in real estate, I was working with a guy who was a referral to me. And I said, hey, I've got a couple houses I want you to come look at. And he was like, okay, cool, perfect. He's excited, just moved down here. And we go look at one, loves it. It's great. Second one, not so much. Third one, he loves that one as well. And he's like, but I'm not ready. I said, okay, that's fine. That's completely okay. And in my head, I was like, I've got to show him more. I've got to show him more. I've got to show him more. He's got to see more houses when the truth is he needed to see the one. And in doing so, one Saturday, I sent him 8 houses. I was like, hey, we're going to go look at this. 4 of which were new builds. But the way they were spaced out is the first home we went and looked at, he didn't like it all. The second home was a new build. We get there, house wasn't built yet. It's vacant property. It's got a concrete slab. The pictures were a rendering. That was awkward. We got there, nobody was there. I was like, okay, cool. On to the next one. Go to the next one. He loves it. Again, loves the house. He's like, I want to make an offer here. This is the one. I'm like, okay, well, I think we should go look at the other ones. And anyway, the next 2 that we went and looked at were both new construction. And guess what? You're right. They were not built yet. And you know where I didn't see them? At the next house. Because why would he come? I just showed him 3 houses that were not built yet. He did not have any trust in me. And the reason that I did that and the reason that I decided he needed to see 8 homes that day was because I was convinced that the reason he wasn't making an offer on any of them or the reason that he wasn't ready was because he hadn't seen enough, when the truth is he hasn't seen the one. So instead of stopping, recollecting my thoughts, and taking his feedback from the 2 that he loved and finding the one that he would be head over heels for, I showed him 8 houses. Lost that client. That was what? That was a $10,000 loss. Yeah, that sucked. But I learned a lesson. I have to listen to them. I got to listen to them, what they need, not what I need. I don't need to show him that many houses. He just needs to see the one that he loves. So, all that being said, don't regret your decisions because they're learning experiences. Don't second guess them because when you made them in a time of clarity. And don't be terrified of failure. Don't even let failure be a forefront in your mind. Don't let it even be a thought. Because if it's a thought, you're going to fail. Where your energy goes or where your focus goes, your energy flows. And if you focus on failure, that's where your energy is going to go. Your energy is going to go to that failure. You're going to if you visualize failure, you're going to bring failure into your life. So it can't even be a thought in your head. And if you ever feel complacent, look into adding something to your plate. Something small. Don't create chaos in your life. Just create urgency. Add something to your plate that makes you do, that makes you move, that makes you do things that maybe are not the most comfortable. Because in my opinion, that's the best way to become the person that you want to be. But that's all I've got today. share the show if you liked it. If you learned something, share it. There'll be a link in the description everywhere this is posted. It's gonna be a website of mine. You can go through there. Reach out to me if you have any real estate questions, or if you have questions about the podcast. If you have any questions here that you want me to answer, or anything like that, it's also going to be a good place to find me on every social media platform. But yeah, if you loved it, if you learned something, if you think somebody can grow from it, if you think somebody can take something from here and create something with their life, then share it. I'll see y'all next week.